There is no question that 2020 will be a year for the history books. From wildfires, a pandemic, protests, and riots. And let's not forget, it's an election year. The question remains, will we be able to overcome? And I believe the answer is yes. And joining me now from the Illinois State Police is Colonel Division of Patrol, David Byrd. Colonel Byrd, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So recently I posted on my Facebook page, who do you all want to see on CI Living? Who can we interview that you would find uplifting, educational, along those lines? And one of my friends mentioned to interview a police officer. So that's where you come in.
Awesome. Awesome.
So I want to get straight to their questions so that I make sure we have enough time for those. And the first question is, what does a typical day look like for you?
Wow. So, well, that has changed over the years. I've been on this job. I'll be starting my 31st year in August. So it's changed a lot. I'm originally from the south side of Chicago, and like I said, I started in 1989, 1990. So I worked midnights for over 20 years, actually, as a patrolman for the Illinois State Police, and every night was exciting. I'm a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, so there were a lot of pursuits going on throughout the night. There were a lot of foot pursuits. There was a lot going on. I worked the west side of Chicago. It was very busy, it was the best thing about it for me, that every night was like a new night. So it was like starting over fresh. It was unpredictable. People always ask me, hey, how is it to be a police officer? And I tell them it's unpredictable. And that's one word that captures everything. I'll give you an example. Just today, I was coming into the office, and then there was a pursuit for a subject who was wanted for aggravated battery that the Illinois State Police were involved in Chicago, and they took that subject into custody. But this is broad daylight, so it really has, the time of day really doesn't matter. There are people out there doing illegal acts daily at different times, and our law enforcement officers are doing amazing jobs, a job to interdict those crimes. And today, the good guys won. So.
Well, that's good. I'm sure you've got lots of stories like that to tell working that late night shift. Another question was, do you think policing as a whole needs changed?
Well, yes. I mean, at the end of the day, we'd be naive to think that we couldn't make change with procedures or best practices that we have found throughout the years that might have worked in our earlier, maybe 10 or 15 or 20 years ago, might not work today. And we always have to reevaluate our procedures, our policies, our tactics. These are things that we do probably not even just yearly, but even monthly. Some things have to be looked at monthly, and we have to make changes for the better. So if there are some practices or policies that we have in place that we don't feel are appropriate at this time, we should make those changes. We shouldn't be afraid to make changes. I know a lot of people are afraid of change. In law enforcement, you cannot be afraid of change because it's always evolving. Law enforcement is a type of profession that evolves all the time. And so, no, I believe there are some things that we can change to make our profession looked at in a better light. And I'm willing to make change. Illinois State Police has always been a leader in the state and in the country, and we're willing to make change and be that model. Yeah.
And speaking of change, there has been so much talk recently about defunding or abolishing the police. And I know there are different opinions on the definition of defunding, what exactly it means. So what is your response to that?
Well, now I know some people believe that they don't need the police any longer. And there are probably some people who can take care of themselves in certain situations, but there are so many citizens who need the police to take care of them in certain situations. And and to protect them. So abolishing the law enforcement component to me makes no sense at all. I'll just be bluntly honest with you. There, we will always be needed. There are people who need to be protected, and we want to be, you know, the force that actually does that for them. So that's what law enforcement. That's what we're there for, to serve and protect. So we always want to continue to be able to do that. But as it goes to defunding, I also think that that's a bad idea. I mean, I know the use of that word just doesn't seem, and maybe the word's just inappropriate. But as far as policing, there's a lot of training that we still constantly have to do, which is about, when you talked about change, a lot of it has to do with training. So, so why would we want to take money away from law enforcement when they can use it for training to better our police officers and make them better at doing their job? I mean, and training costs. It's not free. And I'll give you an example. We have Illinois State Police. We now have use of a use of force simulator, which is not. It didn't come free to us. It's expensive. This type of training costs, and we have to pay. We're like everybody else. I mean, we have to pay for the product. So, so to defund policing, I think, is a bad idea. There's a lot of training to be done to make things a whole lot better within law enforcement and the community. And training is probably one of the biggest components. So defunding it would be, would definitely be, in my eyes, at least personally, not a good idea at all.
Yeah, well, Colonel Byrd, I appreciate your time and having this open dialogue with you and addressing some of the questions that viewers have submitted to me. And we appreciate the work you do, and we'll be thinking about you and all of your other coworkers who come into harm's way who knows how often a day. And we will share this segment again on CILiving.tv and connect people with the Illinois State Police at CILiving.tv. Colonel Byrd, thank you so much.
No, thank you, ma'am, for having me. I appreciate it, and have a great day.
You too.